empty building over on Navy Boulevard. And unless ECUA have sold it, it used to be a satellite station where people could go and pay their utility bill. I don't know the reason for closing that facility, but, you know, I'm thinking of senior citizens who do not have transportation readily for them, that have to pay someone to drive them all the way out to ECUA. Everybody don't pay online with their debit card or whatever. It just seems to me, whatever the budget of ECUA is, if $750,000 is being spent on advertising, there should be a little bit more focus on, since we are considered as customers, customer service. Why isn't there some sincere effort to have a satellite station other than everything has to go out to Ellison Industrial Park? That is a long way for people that live in the Warrenton area, Montclair area, and the west side of town. So I just think that if we keep thinking the same way we have been doing things for a long period of time, you get the same results, and that's citizens who are frustrated. And that's why I want to thank everybody for coming today. It might not be 100 or 200 people here, but the people here today are sincerely concerned about the service that we are receiving as taxpaying citizens from ECU.
Okay, I'm in agreement with you. Now, here's the other thing. A lot of times, and I have a little saying, I always say that when you vote, that's your outside voice, and your inside voice is what you do in the community. And I firmly believe that. I think that one of the things we need to do, we actually need to do an audit to find out exactly where that money is going as far as how we're spending as far as media or advertising, because one, we really need to get across to everyone that you're ratepayers. And not everyone that's a ratepayer is actually a voter in the area. They may be renting out their place, they may live somewhere else, but they're still a ratepayer and they still should have a say. So there needs to be a way that your voice is heard regardless of where you live. If you are paying money, be it District 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. So we need to think outside the box in everything that we do, from you're not a customer, you're a ratepayer. You're the reason the doors are open, and you need to know that. Secondly, there's a lot of property that ECUA owns, and I'm quite sure that some of those areas we can open up a satellite office for people to pay their bill. I mean, Pensacola is a large area, and if someone, say, is coming from Cantonment or even downtown or Warrenton, it is hard to get to Ellison. Again, of course, since I am a candidate, I have not missed a meeting in almost 2 years. I sit in the same spot, and and some of the board members can tell you that I get there sometimes between 2:01 and 2:05, sometimes 2:15, because I work downtown, and sometimes it's hard to leave at a certain time to make it down there. So it is important that I'm not the only one that has that struggle. There are others that have that struggle, and they do want to be a part of it, and they do want to be heard. And so I think it's very important that we look into ways of making sure that those that want to have a say, that they're able to have that say.
I've got a question for Mr. Walker, and then I would like Clarissa also to give me your opinion on it. But you're currently on the board. When we send in Freedom of Information Act requests, are you as the board informed of those? I know there's sunshine laws that you can't be talking about them, so I know you have to be in a public forum. Are you all informed of those?
If it seems like a very routine Freedom of Information Act request, not some big hot issue, staff may not bother to inform us. If it's something that's a sensitive issue, like say the tanks, the backup tanks on pallet box, yes, we would be informed that someone has requested a Freedom of Information Act provision of.
And I'll take my question one step further for you. Do you all discuss with how ECUA should respond to those, as opposed to people taking 3, 4, 5, 15 requests before they actually get it? Is there a policy that should be responded to the first time?
Our policy is that every request should be responded to the
They're
first
not,
time.
I'll tell you that up front.
There may be some questions that get asked first, like, are you sure, can you define the scope, more precisely the scope of what you want? Or is there a limit on how many pages you want to pay for? Things like that. There might be some back and forth communication.
And I understand that. If you respond with those questions, that is a response. It may not be the ultimate, but when you get no response until you push the issue. And that's what I was curious as to, you as a board member, you've already said what your policy is.
I have not known of situations where staff failed or refused or whatever to make a response. And I would invite you to let me know if it happens again.
And then,
Or some other board member.
if you would just comment on the topic, if you are elected. And I know you're different districts too.
Right. I think that, I believe, right, what should happen is this. If you make a request and you haven't heard anything, I do agree that a board member should be notified. And then that should be dealt with. But the problem is that in my humble opinion, the culture there is one of, it is extremely difficult at times, depending on what it is that you're requesting, to obtain information. I mean, we should know what the budget is, or have a rough amount, idea. I mean, after the rate increase, I actually went online to, okay, I've already downloaded the budget before, let me get this information because I'm trying to understand it with the packet. And I still had questions looking at all that information. Now, I'm not a CPA, but I still should be able to know the bottom line. We have X amount of $1 million, and this is what we're dealing with, and this is what we spend on. It's very hard to figure out that information. So having a request made, there really should be actually a system in place where it actually doesn't, the staff doesn't have to report it. It should be a way that it shows up. Because when you make a request, there should be a trail. Just like with a contract, there should be a trail.
Thank you both.
You have a question?
As for District 3, in reference to water meters being upgraded and changed out when ECUA start changing out water meters, how would you ensure in a neighborhood or in a community that has multiple vacant lots that has had houses torn down, the meters have never been upgraded or replaced? How would you go about ensuring within that neighborhood or district that every water meter and every sewage was capped off within a neighborhood or a district to ensure the safety of that neighborhood or that community?
All right, two things. One, first time I've had that question, and I haven't done any research on meters. So just in how I think, one, I need to know what that process is. Okay, so if the vacant land doesn't have the upgrade, is that affecting the entire system? Because I think that's what I'm hearing you say, that a vacant land. Okay, so if the system is being affected, there's got to be something already in place that lets you know there's a problem. That's just like if there's an issue at a lift station or a well or something. There's something in place, or there should be something in place to make you aware there's a problem in this area, and then they need to go out and deal with that. So that, again, that sounds like an infrastructure issue. And it goes back to, and this is what the majority of my research that I've been doing, and because it is a top priority, is dealing with the consent agreement, which I don't really hear being discussed at board meetings. I have not heard an update. I was actually a little bit surprised that it wasn't really dealt with during the budget discussion on Thursday. We have to bring up our infrastructure. I mean, we have to. I mean, that should be something we should normally want to do, but we're under a consent agreement, so we have to. So we need to figure out, we really need to know what the priorities are so that we are dealing with those. But anywhere that there, because of an issue of a system not being switched out because it's a vacant lot, and that's what's causing the issue, there's got to be something in place that to make them aware of that. And then if that's a large, if that problem is a large scale, then they should already be aware of it, which it sounds like maybe they're not. So that's something that needs to be dealt with. Yes.
Whenever a house is torn down or moved, they cap the sewer line and then they cut the water off. It's either the curb stop or the porch stop, which is in the ground. So both are shut off, and the priority comes to the houses that's already built or being built. And after somebody either build a house on that property, they will come in and upgrade that system.
Yes, $6,000. 6,000. That's what I paid, 6,000.
So now, are you also speaking of switching from,
Just a new house built on the property. And it hadn't been a house on it since the 1960s.
okay.
It's-
Well, I'm gonna be honest, I haven't.
6,000.
What they do is impact fees, and that's what she had to pay. New service, impact fee, like I said, $6,000. We're out there to help pay $4,000, so I know that much got paid.
Fair enough, he's not that low.
Okay. So,
May I say something? May I say something? If we all just let one person talk at a time, we will, this has been a great information session so forth. We want to continue that, but we all can't have different conversations going on at the same time. I just want to pause for a minute, Clarissa. I want to recognize the organizations that's here. The organization that I'm with is the National Movement for Human and Civil Rights. Our board chairman is Dr. Ruby Moon out of Rockville, Maryland. And she was so pleased when we notified her a month ago that we would be having this forum. I see Pastor Rodney Jones, who is the vice president, second vice for NAACP. I see Mr. McIntosh, Jerry McIntosh, who is the spokesperson for Movement for Change. The League of Women Voters, I think some is here today. So there are, it might, as I said, it might not be 200 or 300 people here, but people are here that can carry information back to their different circles or their different groups and what have you. And I want to thank you again, Clarissa and Mr. Walker, for showing up. I think it speaks volumes when you have an opportunity to address people and you're asking those people to vote for you, but you don't think enough of them to come and interchange information. One thing I have heard constantly here today, the communication process is broken. And if anything, I ask you all, as candidates and Mr. Walker as a city board member, take that conversation back about the time of day that the meetings are held. The other questions that maybe have been asked by people, the information process, getting information. We assume that everybody living in America has a computer. That is not so. There are a lot of senior citizens are really afraid of a computer. There will be a number readily available that come with their bill each month and say, if you have a customer service question, call this number. They district representative should be readily available 24 hours of the day because that person elected to serve. And if they're not willing to do that, they need to be removed.
I agree with you on
Use
your,
that 24 hours a little bit.
Well, I'm sure they're gonna be respectful. That was just giving you.
I'm just.
I agree with you on your statement regarding the elderly. There are those elderly that don't want to use it. But I don't think age is an issue when it comes to affordability. There's a lot of people, regardless of their age, that cannot afford internet and don't have that access, or a phone that they can do that. So I think it's important that we include them in that conversation.
Sure, oh, sure, by all means, by all means. Plus, just, you know, I just wanted to recognize the people that's here. Yes.
Okay, I'm Vivian Fairclough from the League of Women Voters. I want to make sure that you realize that, that we put out information on candidates every election season. Okay, we'll have a newspaper type things to hand out for the general election. But locally, for the primary election, I am putting together what I call an e-guide, which is for all the candidates that are on our primary ballot. And it is found on our website. Okay, this is, and I can give you that, LWV, League of Women Voters, PPA for Pensacola Bay Area, .org. But if somebody calls, because we have a telephone number, if somebody, which hopefully is advertised, if somebody needs the information, wants the information, does not have a computer, we will give it to them one way or another. We will either print it out, or we will tell them specifically what they want to know. This is for what all the candidates on the, and one comment is that we have all the candidates listed, but so far, you will not find information from all the candidates. We put the information